Welcome to the year 2121. I know, you were expecting flying toasters and mindless sex slaves cloned from the DNA of Marilyn Monroe. But after the big atomic war of 2012, there are no people left. Except for the roach people. They were engineered by a mad scientist in India and just in time. And they're quite like regular people, only they eat their dead and they all obey the Roach King. Would you like to meet one? Hi, Josh.
Are you a ghost?
Yep.
Cool. What was your name?
Mark Bingham.
I read about you in my history book. You died on Flight 93 when it crashed outside of Shanksville,
Pennsylvania.
But first you beat up the terrorists who'd taken control of the plane. Oh, that must have been scary.
Aw, don't worry. It all seemed terrible at the time, but at least the plane didn't crash into the White House like it was supposed to. And as for me, why, now I can fly through space and time.
Cool. And I bet ghosts don't have to do history homework.
What's the problem?
I have to do a paper on the Iraq War.
Oh?
Yeah. My history teacher says that the invasion of Iraq started the atomic war of 2012.
Your professor sounds like a smart man.
Roach.
I'll
probably flunk. I just don't understand how the war started.
You want me to show you?
Oh. Are we gonna fly through space and time?
Yep. Through the magic of television.
Oh. I thought we were gonna fly.
Osama, good to see you, O virtuous warrior. Please come into my cave. Cave office.
Thank you, Mullah Omar. How are things at the Taliban?
We will never give up, no matter how painful it becomes for our people.
Mullah, I'm here to discuss a part of our struggle that you may not have considered. Public relations.
They are forbidden.
I mean how our cause is perceived.
Osama, in the Arab world, our propagandists have a monopoly on the public dialogue. The Egyptian newspapers print anything we make up. I mean, say.
But in America, we are just not getting our point of view across.
Let's write a book.
Americans don't read books.
But their literacy rate is so high, and even the girls go to school.
They don't read. They watch TV. Mullah Omar, this is Manny Muhammad. Manny is a theatrical agent.
Nice to meet you, Mullah, baby.
1,000 welcomes. You know, Manny, since strict Muslim countries have no theater, I wonder if you find the profession of theatrical agent at all lucrative.
It's a living. Mullah, who's the most famous man in America?
Obviously. Paula Abdul.
She's not a man.
Simon Cowell.
Not even close.
Ryan Seacrest.
In America, everyone knows the face of Osama Bin Laden.
What is that thing I have, Manny?
Charisma.
I have the charisma.
The camera loves him.
But we need a vehicle.
A vehicle like the wooden plank that our terrified refugees use to drag their few possessions behind them?
No, a TV show starring Osama. It'll make a fortune and reveal to the Americans the superiority of the Taliban way of life.
Television is evil. I don't see how evil can help us.
At least listen to Manny's ideas.
Afghan Idol It'll show the world how talented the average Afghan person really is.
Manny says the concept is sexy.
Do you mean sexy in the American way, where you can see the woman's arms and legs?
No, sexy but tasteful. Get a load of this. This is our first contestant, Astro.
Is this what they call a hot hoochie mama?
Did you see the way she filled that burqa like a wild leopard sewn into a black sack?
She is a brazen hussy who will inflame unclean passions.
Really, she's like Whitney Houston level hot.
I think this whole idea is not a good one. It was satellite TV that first exposed us to Western decadence. What we saw was so shocking that we had no choice but to declare jihad. Eventually, they will see the rightness of our cause.
How? Respected mullah, do you think the Americans are going to sit around reading the Quran? They must be persuaded using whatever means possible. So, we give them more of the television that they watch for an average of 4 hours a day, but we give it a distinctly Taliban twist.
There can be no Taliban twist. Dancing is forbidden.
Did somebody say the Taliban twist? Do the Taliban twist, boys, do the Taliban twist. If you don't wanna miss getting kissed on the wrist, do the Taliban twist. Do the Taliban dance, boys, do the Taliban dance. It'll give you a chance for romance, shake your pants. Do the Taliban dance. I find it thrilling to rock my soul. It makes me willing to go down in the hay and have a roll. Do the Taliban twist, boys, do the Taliban twist. You'd be wrong to resist if you missed just the gist. Do the Taliban twist, boys, do the Taliban twist.
Ay, Gavalt, these young girls will do anything to break into show business.
Singing is even more forbidden than dancing. Your contestant is dead, and so is your concept. Now, will you leave me? I am busy making up new laws. How do you like this one? No bobsledding on Thursdays.
Mullah, if you only indulge us for a few more moments, we have ideas for situation comedy starring Osama.
Okay, I will listen, but make it swift. 25 words or less.
Here's the concept. Osama of Mayberry. In it, Osama plays the lovable sheriff of a tiny village. He's a widower with a small son, and he lives with his adorable Aunt Bee.
Pa, can I go to the old swimming hole?
Ask your Aunt Bia.
But I can't, Pa.
Why not?
She took her blueberry tart to be judged at the county fair.
What? She is alone on public streets? With a tart?
Yes, Pa.
Then your Aunt Bia must be a prostitute.
What's that, Pa?
A woman who gives herself to men for money.
No, Pa. Aunt Bee ain't a prostitute. She's a Protestant.
That's even worse.
Really?
She must be stoned to death.
But, Pa, do we really have to stone Aunt Bee to death?
She is ungrateful. A woman whose husband has died would usually be begging for scraps of bread in the street. So I take her in, and she repays me by acting like a whore. You, her little nephew, must stone her to death personally. It will be the heartwarming lesson at the end of the episode.
Too downbeat.
Okay. How about, Bin Laden's Island? Osama's the skipper, and they only meant to go on a 3-hour tour. But they're blown off course, and Osama is cast away on a desert island with his faithful servant, Gilligan.
Skipper!
Yes, little buddy?
The signal fire went out and I can't start it up again.
Keeping the fire going is woman's work. Get the woman Ginger to help you.
But Skipper, she's busy kissing the professor.
Kissing the professor? I knew that woman was a prostitute. Stone her to death immediately.
Yes, Skipper.
Oh, and afterward, Gilligan, I want you to come to my cabin and pleasure me.
Yes, what did you say, Skipper?
I said come to my cabin and pleasure with me.
Skipper, why would I do that?
The women are not permitted to have sexual freedom, so we men must do something, mustn't we?
Are you sure it's okay?
As long as I'm on top, I'm still the man.
Yes, Skipper.
No, too disturbing.
Okay. How about the Mary Tyler Bin Laden show? Osama's a career girl on her own for the first time in the big, decadent western city.
I hate it already. I hate the whole idea. In fact, I hate television. Period.
Okay, but
I hate TV. It makes me look so fat. Let's turn it off, and that'll just be that. The things they sell are useless, there's none of it we need. America should use less and would if not for greed. A demographic pigeonhole is much too small to hold a soul. I'd rather be a refugee than buy into the heresy that's broadcast by the bourgeoisie. I hate TV. It makes me look so fat. Let's turn it off, and that will just be that. The shows are so perverted, the actors are in heat. A woman is converted into a piece of meat. A female's not a chickadee. To strip her of her dignity is nothing but a travesty. So give her back her modesty along with domesticity. Let's build a fire in the middle of the square. Pile up the TVs and we'll burn them all right there. If there are books you don't like, throw them on the pile. Fire will burn anything, it's very versatile. I understand that there are those who disagree, and they'll be punished for their gross impiety. After the fire, we will hang them in the square. Then they will learn to be a bit more doctrinaire. I hate TV. It makes me look so fat. Let's turn it off, and that'll just be that.
And that's just what the Taliban did. They confiscated everyone's TV set. Now imagine trying that in America. People would rather give you their children.
I don't understand. I thought the war in Iraq was started by President Bush.
I'm getting to that. See, President Bush heard about the Taliban's efforts to get on TV and decided he needed a show of his own. He pitched an idea for a reality program to the E! Network, but unfortunately the people at E! were under the impression that Martin Sheen was President of the United States.
I hear Martin Sheen was the greatest human actor.
He was.
So, what did President Bush do to get on TV?
Even though he just hated television press conferences, he figured he'd better hold one because it would distract people from the fact that he was tilting the economy so that all the money ran into the pockets of a few rich people.
We roach people all share. We're communists.
Thank you. Welcome to my press conference. I'd give lots more of them if it weren't for the thing of talking and being asked questions.
What do you plan to do about the fact that the Chinese now own us lock, stock, and barrel?
I know how hard it is for people to put food on their families. In a time of sacrifice, people must sacrifice.
What other sacrifices will be required of Americans?
Attorney General Ashcroft has a wonderful new plan to stop suspicious-looking characters on the street and strip search them right there. If they're carrying a bomb or an nail file or a shoe, they'll be held without habeas corpus, whatever that is.
Are you saying they'll just stop anyone at all who looks suspicious?
Only people of color. No white people will be bothered in any way.
Yikes! Mr. President, what about our civil rights under the Constitution?
I find all this talk of the Constitution very un-American.
Daddy, I want to be on TV too.
Oh no, my wild, untamable daughter Jenna. Where's your twin?
She's at a rave, Daddy. A guy at our dorm hooked us up with some E. We dropped it, and now we feel nothing but love for everyone.
Love for everyone? That doesn't sound promising.
No, Daddy. Love rules. I even love the Taliban.
What?
We held a peace vigil on campus, and I lit a candle. For peace.
Peace protesters are traitors.
Daddy, you just don't understand that America is about freedom.
I, the leader of the free world, don't understand freedom?
I'd better sing you a song about freedom. But first, I'll need a Hare Krishna and an abstract expressionist.
We're fighting for freedoms we can't ignore. And while we are sure there are more, it's not our intention to bore. So we'll emphasize only these four: sexual freedoms,
economic freedoms,
artistic freedoms,
and religious freedoms.
What are those again?
Sexual, economic, artistic, and religious.
You can do lesbo or a guy named Tex. You can choose abortion or have three-way sex. You can take a fancy to a commie rat. Monica Lewinsky did a Democrat.
That's wrong.
I so enjoy having a boy annoy me. But every lad seems to make Dad so mad. Daddy's afraid they only want to roll me. He doesn't know I want them to dethong me.
You can start a business. You can make a pile like they did with Enron.
Only for a while.
You can buy from China, sell it to Japan. Just don't trade with Cuba and forget about Iran. I find romance taking a chance on Wall Street. Figuring how high will the Dow go now? When it goes up, I feel as if it's my day.
But nowadays it's not more like Black Friday. If you are artistic, there are things to do. You can paint a triptych or compose haiku. If you have a deep fire to express your views, you can write a satire on the daily news. If they complain you have no brains or talent, you shouldn't care. You took the dare, so there. Be cutting edge. You have the right to try it.
But just remember, no one's gonna buy it.
That's why we need the NEA.
You can worship Allah. You can worship Soul. You can pray to Buddha. Anyone at all. Should the Holy Ghost see, he would surely laugh that we all pray mostly to the golden calf.
If I prefer, I can defer to Jesus. He's quite a guy up in the sky so high.
Mormons prefer some angel named Moroni.
And who are we to say if that's below nigh? We all agree this country's based on freedom. You can decide
case of drugs like marijuana. I'm afraid you'll have to just say no.
Yes, yes, yes.
Next question.
Freedom sounds like a terrible idea. In the roach world, you know your place.
Different species do things differently.
Maybe. Would you like a bite of my feces sandwich?
I just had milk and honey an hour ago.
So, how did Osama react to President Bush's TV show?
He wanted a better show. So he persuaded Mullah Omar to get the Saudi royal family to finance a new sitcom entitled I Love Prakbar. On the success of this sitcom rested the fate of the human world.
Prakbar, I'm home.
Osama, you are early.
I just couldn't take it anymore. Those suicide bombers are so incredibly stupid.
Well, after all, they are suicide bombers.
So?
Nothing, Osama. Please continue.
The fools. Today, 10 of them killed themselves practicing their suicide missions. I keep telling them, do it just like for real, but without the suicide part.
My poor Osama. You just sit right down here and relax. I will go in the kitchen and check on your dinner.
Prakbar,
Yes, my darling husband.
what are you up to?
Up to?
Yes. You're always doing zany antics, like the time you spoke in public.
I don't know what you might mean, Osama, darling. I am not speaking in public. This is not public. I'll be right back.
I mean, why are you in such a hurry to leave the room? Is there something you're hiding from me?
No, Osama.
Why are you walking backwards?
Am I? I hadn't noticed.
I have noticed, and you are walking backwards.
Oh, so I am. I will stop.
Turn and face me.
But why? In this heavy burqa, you cannot see my face. So what is the difference, really? Which way I turn?
Prakbar.
What?
Turn around, or I'll beat you until you bleed from your ears.
Oh. You see, Osama? Nothing is wrong.
Really? Then what's that bulge in your burqa?
It's a bomb.
A what?
You are always saying how hard a day you have down at the terrorist compound, and I was thinking that since I want to get a job, maybe I could help you at the terrorist compound, and that would be good for you, and it would be good for me too. So I decided to make a bomb to show you how much help I could be at work, and I did, and here it is.
I don't believe it's really a bomb.
It's a bomb.
No woman can make a bomb. What materials did you use to make this so-called bomb?
I used chili powder, baking powder, blasting powder, and dried beans from American Aid packages.
Dried beans.
You know how they make you explode.
Prakbar, you are crazy. You cannot come down to work at the terrorist compound. How could you when you're not even allowed to leave the house?
You say I am the favorite of your wives, and yet I ask you for one little thing, and you say no.
You really want to undergo the indignity and sacrilege of working at a job outside the home, even though the studies by the Heritage Foundation prove it will make your children neurotic?
Yes.
Okay. Here.
What is this?
The directions to the terrorist compound.
You know I cannot read.
What? Oh, yes, I forgot. The Taliban forbids women education of any kind. So we might as well just have dinner and forget all this silliness. Come in. Ethel Schmerz, my American neighbor. Welcome to my humble home. Tell me, Ethel, how many abortions have you had today?
Always with the politics. Somebody should have aborted you.
What do you want?
I can't find Fred anywhere. My drain is clogged.
He will not fix it tonight. We are golfing.
This hellhole has golf courses?
The greens aren't much, but the sand traps are unbelievable.
Do I hear my wife?
Hello, Fred.
Why aren't you at home making my dinner?
Because I don't feel like it, fatso. In fact, Prokbar and I were just leaving to do some shopping at the bazaar.
The Taliban decrees she cannot leave the house without a male family member.
Yeah.
Fine. We'll go into the kitchen. The energy in this room has gotten just a little too male for me.
Too bad you can only marry 4 wives, Osama, because I could let you have a 5th one real cheap.
Speaking of a 5th, I'm thirsty. Your woman Ethel has a sharp tongue in her head.
And she's not much to look at either.
That is not a problem for the Taliban, man.
Why not?
All women look alike with bags on their heads, and we put bags on all their heads.
What's got you in such a lather?
That Osama makes me mad.
So what are you gonna do?
When Osama won't let me do something, he always says, "The Taliban forbids, the Taliban forbids." Well, what if he were to hear that the Taliban allows women to work?
But Prokbar, the Taliban will never say that.
They may not say it, but Osama may hear them say it.
Prokbar, what are you up to?
Prokbar, I'm home. Prokbar? Very strange.
Welcome to Taliban TV. Now the news. In Kabul, everything was nice today. The weather was nice. All the people were friendly and... In other news, the Taliban today, in a stunning about-face, decreed that women should work outside the home if they want to. The Taliban spokesman said, women have much to offer, and if they want to go to their husband's place of employment, maybe to his terrorist compound, then more power to them.
They're 3rd degree. You must get medical treatment.
Ethel, how many times must I tell you? Afghan women have no access to medical care under the Taliban.
Look, the real estate market here is shot to hell. Fred and I are pulling out. Come with us.
No, somehow I'm going to get down to the terrorist compound and show Osama what I can do. It's a matter of principle.
Prokbar, I think maybe you should give up this job thing and accept your lot in life. I mean, you've been beaten, burned. The only thing you haven't done is contract anthrax. Prokbar, what are you thinking?
I think it is infamous to have a woman in a factory. Osama said you should be working here on the anthrax assembly line?
Absolutely, Abdulaziz. We are experts.
You won't need to be an expert. See this conveyor belt? The envelopes will come down the conveyor belt, and next to each one will be a scoop of anthrax. One of you puts the anthrax into the envelope, and the other seals the envelope. That's all there is to it.
Sounds easy.
We hope to get out letters to the entire Vienna Boys choir today, so keep on your toes.
I don't know how you talked me into this, Prokbar.
Relax, Ethel. It will be simple. See? This is a cinch.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. Hey, it's speeding up.
What shall we do with all this anthrax?
How should I know?
I have to hide it somewhere.
Prokbar, I don't get it. I haven't had any symptoms, have you?
Osama says that it was a bad batch of anthrax.
Then it looks like for once you escaped without a scratch, eh, Prokbar?
Not quite.
What do you mean?
Osama said that if I really wanted to give him a hand, I could give him two.
What?
He cut off my hands.
What a funny show. If 2 of my arms got cut off, I'd still have 2 left.
Boy, imagine those extra arms on a rugby field. You guys should start a team.
Roaches don't approve of competitive sports.
So, you liked the show?
I bet President Bush was mad that Osama made such a good show.
He was.
What did he do?
Well, he had a friend, Karl Rove, and Karl saw how much people liked the president's daughter. So he decided to give her a show of her own and make George her sidekick.
Why did they like her?
Because she was pretty.
She doesn't even have an exoskeleton.
Josh, what did I say about different species?
They do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's the George and Jenna Comedy Hour, starring Jenna and George Bush. This week, Jenna and Daddy discuss religion.
Thank you, Mr. Rumsfeld. Welcome to my show, I guess. It's another brilliant idea from Daddy's puppet master, Carl Rasputin Rove. Oh, I wanted to be on TV, but I wanted to do a show where I'm a pop singer with a pet chimpanzee. But Daddy says, you better listen to me, I'm the president. Of course, he wouldn't even be president if Uncle Jeb had let those old Jews count their votes. That's not funny. Anyway, at least I get to sing. And in fact, the singing was Daddy's idea. Did you know that Daddy just loves musical comedy? Sometimes I think Daddy's kind of gay, and that's why he gets that funny look in his eye whenever he says same-sex union, same-sex union. He is so suspiciously overinterested in same-sex union. Come to think of it, Daddy was a cheerleader in college, and if he wasn't gay, he was the first boy cheerleader not to be. Anyway, I better get back to Carl's script because he gets very vindictive when you deviate from the talking points. Why, here comes Daddy. What wise moral lesson are you here to teach us, Daddy? And why weren't you at rehearsal this week?
I was on vacation in Kennebunkport.
Imagine how great America would be if you were in charge of it all the time.
Jenna, don't push it. You're not high on my list right now.
If you mean my report card, I had 3 finals on the same day.
I mean that song you sang about lesbos and such. It was immoral. It was smart alecky, and it was just plain weird.
It was sexy.
This week I'll do the singing. A faith-based song.
Oh, Jesus. You're not going to give us that fundamentalistic evangelism again, are you? Can't we go back to being Episcopalians?
The focus group hated Episcopalians. Everybody hates Episcopalians. Episcopalians hate Episcopalians. Besides, honey, if Jesus keeps me off the bottle, then I'm all for him, and you should be too.
Daddy, in my dorm, there's this girl from India, and she says that in the rest of the world, when you say go to war after talking to God, they think you mean a religious war against, like, Islam and everybody. A crusade.
Honey, God loves war. He wants us to prove our mettle by fighting over which religion is best.
Oh, really?
You see, my Lord is not a pussy Lord. He's a manly, mighty, send-you-to-hell ass-kicker who smites the drunks, the whoremongers, the cokeheads, and the draft dodgers.
But, Daddy, you were a drunken whoremonger and draft-dodging cokehead.
God forgave me.
But you said God is vengeful.
Against my enemies. God hates my enemies.
But that's exactly what your enemies say, that September 11th was God smiting you. Maybe he wouldn't smite you if we went back to being Episcopalian.
Out of the question. Stand aside, Jenna. I think my song will explain my clarification with great prestidigitation. Give me that hardline religion, it gets a lot of votes. Give me that hardline religion, we'll stuff it down their throats. People will buy what you're selling. People will do what you tell them. They will gladly swallow any fraud. When you tell them that it comes from God.
Once upon a time there was a country, quite a sight to see from sea to sea. The start of it was real idealistic. It was founded so to make the people free.
Guess they mentioned freedom of religion, but I can't remember exactly what they said. In fact, they never wrote a thing about it. If you say they did, then you must be a red. Give me that hardline religion, it gets a lot of votes. Give me that hardline religion, we'll stuff it down their throats. People will buy what you're selling, people will do what you tell them. They will gladly swallow any fraud. When you tell them that it comes from God.
Jesus Christ can help you get elected, though you are a guy who cannot spell. Make sure the cameras see you genuflected. Say that folks who vote against you go to hell. Pour it on their speeches like it's ketchup. Say you'll lead the voters straight to paradise. Just talk about your Savior till they retch up. You can never have too much of Jesus Christ.
Give me that hardline religion.
He gets a lot of votes.
Give me that gold mine religion.
He'll stuff it down their throats.
People will buy what you're selling.
People will do what he tells them. They will gladly swallow any fraud. When you tell them that it comes from God, tell them you've been talking to the man upstairs.
Wasn't that a wonderful number that Jenna sang? I'm so glad that, unlike other extinct cultures I could name, our culture didn't exploit women.
Why was she shaking like that?
Let's see what Osama and the mullah are up to.
Sorry I'm late, boys. What have I missed?
Careful. Mullah's a little touchy right now.
Ah! Touchy is an understatement. I Love Prakbar was perceived by the Americans as brutal oppression of women.
But it's the story of a wise patriarch restoring order to his home.
Not according to the focus group that described it as medieval and shockingly derivative.
Okay.
No more TV.
Well, baby, it would be a sin to waste talent like Osama's.
You don't seem to understand that the point is not for Osama to bask in the limelight, but to deliver a message. We must not lose our focus. I only agreed to this insane deal with the devil of TV because I wanted to make people understand one thing. They must all live under religious law. The state and the church must be one. Theocracy. We want to rule the world, you see. And there on top are you and me. All will make them pay. And when they pray, they'll have to do it all our way. We'll censor every word they say till they see the light. We've the right, it's a right divine. They've no choice, their souls are mine. God talks to me alone. It's like we're on the phone. He tells me what to do, and I relay it to you. Maybe you're some kind of Hindu or Jew. Maybe you give to the ACLU. You'll have to eschew what you once thought was true and embrace something new. Without further ado, let's review. Theocracy. We want to rule the world, you see. And there on top are you and me. All will make them pay. 'Cause we're the guys They've always tried to colonize, so now they cannot criticize anything we say. We've the right, it's a right divine. They've no choice, their souls are mine.
Mullah, you have a charming voice.
Pardon?
He's right. You said I have the charisma, but Mullah, he has the charisma.
Maybe now would be the moment to bring up Ask the Taliban?
Ask the what?
The game show where the Taliban supplies the answers.
And do you know who would be the perfect host?
Who?
Mullah Omar.
What a great idea.
Wait a minute. You realize that according to my religious beliefs, photography actually steals your soul. So if I appear on TV, I will lose my soul.
As your agent, I can tell you that's the usual deal.
All my contracts have a paragraph about it.
Well, I mean, what? I mean, if it's standard, I guess I can't really object. Charisma, you say?
Mullah, we're gonna make you a star.
Ask the Taliban because they're in the know. Ask the Taliban, they'll tell you where to go. Ask the Taliban, they'll tell you what to do. Ask the Taliban, cause everything's taboo. Just be sure to ask the Taliban. If you want to bomb the Pentagon, they will probably see that screwy man. I guess you should have known they like stuff to explode. Ask the Taliban, they'll tell you how to act. Ask the Taliban before the plane's hijacked. Ask the Taliban, they want to know your plans. Ask the Taliban, or they'll cut off your hands.
Welcome to Taliban TV's Ask the Taliban, the game show where the answers are provided by the Taliban. I'm your host, Mullah Muhammad Omar, leader of the faithful and supreme cleric of the Kandahar Shura. And now, let's meet our contestants. This is Zarim. She's a homeless widow from Kandahar and says her hobbies are sewing, praying, and starving.
What is happening? I just wandered in looking for a crust of bread.
You're on Ask the Taliban, the game show where the Taliban supplies the answers.
If I win, will you give me bread?
Let's meet our next contestant. Allison Finley is an American. You have to stand so close to me, unclean Western harlot.
Oh.
Allison is from Berkeley, California. She's a junior at Northwestern University, where she pledged Kappa Kappa Mu. Her hobbies are rock climbing, tennis, and drinking until she throws up.
I came here to help you people, and you threw me in a dank, filthy cell.
And our third contestant is familiar to everyone. The holiest man in show business, our returning champion, eccentric billionaire, Osama Bin Laden. Welcome, Osama.
It's nice to be here, Omar.
You look very handsome in your long beard. Are you ready to play our game?
This woman's little girl is starving. Can't you see that? Please, give her some food.
Do not make us put you in the soundproof booth.
Women.
You can't live with them and you can't live without them.
But you can execute them.
You can give them a crust of bread.
No.
A Tic Tac? Some gum? How about cigarettes? I don't smoke, but I've eaten cigarettes. They're good.
It's time to play our game.
Why aren't there electrodes attached to his head?
We are a poor country without enough electrodes to go around. Osama is so pious that he has sacrificed his electrodes for the good of all.
I demand to see the American consulate.
Now is the time in our game when you shut up. Osama, as the holiest one, you may pick the first category.
I'll take the Taliban don't allow, Mullah baby.
What children's toy is now banned?
Kites.
Correct. What kind of noise is no longer permitted?
Music.
Right you are. What kind of precious historic paintings must be taken from the National Museum and burned?
Any depictions of humans or animals?
It's tied, 1-1. What can you no longer do at a wedding or anywhere else?
Eat!
No.
Dance!
Yes. What is the best way to serve Allah?
Smash and burn a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in Karachi.
Yes. What garment must all women wear whenever they leave the house?
A burqa!
Only some families are poor and can only afford one burqa. That means when one woman leaves the house, all the others have to stay at home. Ow. Ow!
And that's all for the Taliban don't allow. Osama, please select our next category.
I choose America, the Great Satan.
What country has supported corrupt, thieving tyrants like the Shah of Iran and the King of Saudi Arabia just because they keep the oil flowing?
The
USA.
What are American women doing back home while their soldiers are in the Middle East?
Baking!
No.
Bobsledding!
No.
Being made love to by American movie stars like Clint Eastwood and Bart Simpson.
Correct. Who was behind the bombings of the Twin Towers?
Him! Ow! Ow!
The Israeli Secret Service.
Correct. America is best known for what three things?
Democracy, capitalism, and George Clooney.
Wrong.
Hamburgers, French fries, and onion rings.
No.
Pornography, drug addiction, and divorce.
Correct. What Americans are officially legitimate targets for attack in our holy war?
Soldiers.
Wrong.
Anyone but women and children.
No.
All American citizens are legitimate targets.
Correct. What makes a good Muslim?
I know! Prayer 5 times a day, fasting on Ramadan, alms to the poor, and making a pilgrimage to Mecca once in your life. Oh, and most important one, alms to the poor.
Wrong.
Imposing religious law on the whole world and killing everyone who doesn't like it.
Correct. And you get to pick the next category.
I'll take those darned Jews.
According to Egypt's leading newspaper, who distributed chewing gum that made women promiscuous?
The Jews.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Ouch!
Osama, you get to pick the final category.
I'll go with protecting our dear sisters, Mullah.
How fast should a woman walk?
Oh, as fast as she needs to walk to get where she's going.
Wrong.
Not too fast?
No.
Slow enough so it is not necessary to beat her with bicycle chains.
Right. What should women wear in very hot weather?
Something cool and comfortable.
No.
Something with food in the pockets.
No.
Layers and layers of dark, heavy cloth that does not breathe. And they should barely be able to see out of it so they can hardly keep their balance and feel nauseated. By the way, Zarim, your burqa is a mess. You're not a woman of virtue.
What is virtue to a woman who is starving? I would do anything to get food for my baby. Give me a bowl of couscous and I'll show you my knees.
You disgust me.
I want to be modest, but I want even more to survive.
Why are you not shocked?
Because I removed my electrodes, Supreme Cleric.
New category. Women are the road to hell. What country gives women the most rights?
Sweden.
No.
Denmark.
No.
Afghanistan under the Taliban.
Absolutely right.
You are crazy.
We have given them the rights that God and his messenger have instructed. The right to stay in their homes and gain religious instruction in seclusion. In America, women have the right to work a 12-hour day away from their children. And then you have the right to come home and do all the cooking and cleaning and child-rearing while your men watch football. Then, at 4 o'clock in the morning, when you're exercising your right to iron a pile of laundry, is that when you turn your eyes to heaven and say, "Thank God, I'm liberated"?
Yes. It's so much nicer to starve!
I am ashamed of you, Zarim. The Taliban does not like this.
Does the Taliban like locusts? You know, I've eaten locusts, and they're not so bad.
How revolting.
But I think they're high in protein.
Stop it, you're grossing me out.
I am not gross. Starving is gross. Oppression is gross. But most of all, war is gross. You want me to shut up, but I cannot.
tend to be rather negative. I'm another refugee, I've no place to live. Someone killed my family, I'm not sure which side. War is an absurdity, all my friends have died. I want something more from life than my land can give. Kandahar is full of strife, I just want to live. Afghans, Afghans, Afghan refugees. I'm a human. Won't you help me, please? Pardon if I tend to be rather negative. I'm another refugee, I've no place to live. Clearly I'm no fighting man, that's not what I'm for. When they shot at me I ran, I'm for love not war. I'm a person, I'm like you, I just want to eat. And before the war is through, maybe rest my feet. All my life we've been at war, when's it going to stop? When you're always having war, you can't plant a crop. Afghans, 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 refugees. I'm a human. Won't you help me, please? Help me, please. Help me.
Well, thanks for playing our game. Allison, you lose, but as a consolation prize, we're letting you call your father. And Zarim, you lose, but we have this lovely parting gift. A turnip.
A turnip? That's wonderful! Is the whole turnip for me? This will make a lovely meal for my family of 8.
Good night, everybody. And remember, when in doubt, ask the Taliban.
Ask the Taliban before you go astray. Ask the Taliban, they'll have a lot to say. Ask the Taliban, they're ex officio. Ask the Taliban, the answer will be no.
That's catchy.
I'm glad you liked it.
Want to listen to my Roach Pod?
Sure. Very cool.
We better get back to work. If Mom sees me goofing off, she'll eat my head. So, President Bush hates Osama and Mullah because they blew up his towers. I get that part, but what does that have to do with Iraq?
Absolutely nothing.
Then I don't get it. Why did he start the war?
Here, let's watch the president's next TV show.
Did everyone in your world have a TV show?
Yes.
Apart from tax breaks for the wealthy corporate executives, do you have any other plans for the economy?
Yes. I thought I would start a war with a country that had absolutely nothing to do with 9/11.
Pardon, sir?
You know, just pick some country in the Middle East and show them we still know how to kick ass.
But, Mr. President, won't that divert America's resources away from the really important task of protecting ourselves against terrorism?
People of America, you're all in terrible danger. Follow me. I will protect you from the evildoers. Terror level is rising as we speak. We must attack the terrorists where they live. In Iraq.
Mr. President, the connection is tenuous at best.
They have lots of nuclear bombs, and they're aimed right at your grandmother's forehead. Poor Grandma. They want to kill Grandma with nuclear bombs. Now, how do I know? I have secret information from spies. What spies? I obviously can't tell you that because if I told reporters the names of our spies, then I would have to kill the reporters.
But, Mr. President, once you've conquered Iraq, what will you do with it?
Cannot think future consequences of actions. And next question.
Can you predict how many casualties we might suffer?
First off, Dick Cheney personally assures me that the citizens of Iraq will throw rose petals under the tracks of our tanks as they roll into Baghdad. Maybe a few soldiers will get, like, scraped knees, but you have to remember, These are soldiers, and soldiers are poor people.
Did you just say soldiers are poor people?
That's the great thing about having a volunteer army.
Huh?
Expendable, surplus poor people protect the rich people's investments overseas, while the rich people stay home and play tennis. We all know poor people have too many children anywho, so I can start all the wars I want.
That's incredibly horrible.
You see, the part of my brain that cares is gone. I think the cocaine did something to it.
I have here a copy of the Constitution of the United States.
Arrest that woman. She's an enemy combatant. Summon my ambassadors, call up all my creditors, contact all the editors and tell them there's a war. There's nothing I like more than starting up a war. Peace is such a bore, I'd rather worship Thor. Remember how before we almost won that war? I simply would adore to go to war some more. War, 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 war.
And so the president finally was on the verge of a hit show, Operation Shock and Awe. It was just what the Fox network needed.
People really fell for that?
They ate it up like a...
VC sandwich?
Exactly.
How could the humans not see through that?
The president said if you didn't support the war, you were against God.
Oh, like the way we drown you if you don't believe in the Roach King.
Exactly.
Did you know roach people can live for 45 minutes underwater?
Oh, okay.
I learned that in my big book of roach facts. Do you want to read it? I don't mind sharing.
Maybe we should get back to your paper.
Oh, yeah. So, how did Osama react to all this?
You! How dare you show your faces around here after the game show debacle? I thought having my eye put out by the Russians was painful. But it was a picnic compared to being viciously reviewed by the Washington Times TV critic.
What about me? The Miami Herald said that as a game show guest, my acting was, quote, wooden and unconvincing.
I hope I never hear the word television again. I hate TV.
Yes, we know. But actually, Manny has an idea.
It was really more Osama's idea.
No!
Wow. 4,000 eggs.
You know, I think I will take that book after all. So, what did we just learn?
That Osama was happy and George learned his lesson and stopped?
No, that's not what we learned.
Hey, what are you doing here? Now, I had you sent to Guantanamo Bay and specifically said you couldn't have a lawyer.
I escaped while the two soldiers who arrested me made out with each other.
Ah, gay marriage. I love it. It's gonna win me the 2004 election. You're either for the war or you're a dyke.
This has nothing to do with sexual orientation. If there's going to be a war, I must be free to cover it. It's my duty as a reporter.
I wouldn't think of vulcanizing your freedoms of the press.
Good.
In fact, just so you get a close-up view of how well the war will be going, you're going to be embedded.
What does embedded mean?
Let's not go into the precise inhibition. Just listen to the ring of the words. Embedded. Embedded. Ooh, so nice, like being in bed, but with soldiers.
I'm not sure that's appropriate.
And if they get you pregnant, well, you can just have an abortion because you're a left-wing liberal whore.
What?
The Beverly Bin Ladens.
Osama's fear factor?
Who needs television? Now that the great Satan Bush has committed all his resources in Iraq, we're free to do as we please. And suffering caused to the Iraqi people by his war means just one thing.
More
Al-Qaeda recruits.
So, gentlemen, sit back and watch Bush do all the work.
and it's a swing and a miss.
Rumsfeld! What's up, Rummy-Tummy-Tum?
The war. Look. George, you're a great guy. You're cool up to the sky. I love to play with you 'cause you're fun.
Well, Rum, you know I like you. We're asshole buddies, we two. You're a guy I just have to thank for helping with my coolest new prank.
We bombed in Baghdad. We brought them to their knees. We're plunging planet Earth into a new dark ages. The party in the Middle East is just outrageous. We bombed in Baghdad. Okay, we blew our tops. We blew them up to show them, baby, we're the cops. We blew them to the Stone Age with our special ops. And now we'll keep on blowing even if Osama stops. We bombed in Baghdad. We had to clock them to help them recover their wits. We had to shock them. We shocked them and awed them to bits. Yes, sir. We're the greatest country and we showed them today. Our missiles are the biggest, so just do what we say. We bombed in Baghdad. It actually was fun. In less than half an hour, we had those guys on the run. The father wasn't tough enough. Hooray for the son!
My balls exceed my daddy's.
He had only one. Fox News is now reporting that it's over and we've won. We bombed in Baghdad. We bombed in Baghdad.
Jenna. Jenna, wake up. You're having a nightmare.
Who are you?
I was flying past and heard you dreaming.
That was a terrible nightmare. Daddy started a war that destroyed the whole world.
There, you're safe now.
Hey, I've seen you. You're Mark Bingham, the brave gay American hero of Flight 93.
Tell me about your dream.
At the end of the nightmare, I was falling down, down, down. See, I'm taking a plane trip tomorrow. Daddy's having a big Republican fundraiser, and he's mad at me, so he's making me go. It seems I don't behave properly when I'm on TV. I hate TV. I'm never going on it again. Maybe I'll write a book. If Paris Hilton did it, how hard could it be? And I hate airplanes. I'm never going on them again either.
Never?
I'm so humiliated to say this to you of all people, but I'm scared of Air Force One. I saw that movie where the terrorists take over, and if that happens, we're going down because Daddy is not Harrison Ford.
I understand. Lots of people are afraid these days.
Not you. You're brave. I read that you once punched out a carjacker, and another time you took a gun away from a mugger, and then, on Flight 93, that must have been terrible.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember whose idea it was to ram the cockpit door with a cocktail cart. You know, I'm starting to forget details. I think eventually you forget everything. I think you're supposed to.
I'll never forget you. Never. Every American has to remember what you did on that day.
You know, that day, I was late. I sprinted down the gangway and made it just as they were closing the hatch. I'm glad I made it. But I'm not alive, and I don't presume to tell living people what to do. It's the living who own life. We dead, we just watch. And sometimes we come back and tell you not to have wars or be unhappy.
Look, Mark, just because Daddy's not too bright doesn't mean I'm dim-witted. This war in Iraq will just make even more terrorists. I'm scared.
You know what really helps when you're afraid?
What?
Laughter.
But can we laugh about all this?
Don't you see? Laughter is the thing that keeps you sane and strong enough to fight back. Without laughter, you get depressed and stay in bed all day.
you're broke and the rent is due. Laugh when your stocks are down and you haven't got a nickel. Don't be gloomy, tired and doomy. You knew that the Dow is fickle. Laugh when the doctor says you won't last a year. Laugh, 'cause if you can laugh, you'll forget your fear. Why be a slave to worry when you can laugh and sing? Laughter's better than anything. Laugh when you read the news and the news is bad. Laugh when you get a D and your dad is mad. Laugh when your boss is mean, 'cause at least he didn't fire you. Don't be tearful, just be cheerful. Try it, people will admire you. Laugh when you're all alone, you don't have a mate. Laugh if you have a mate, but your mate's dead weight. Laugh if your lover leaves you, maybe it's just your fate. Laugh and maybe you'll get a date. Laugh, though the world is bad and it's getting worse. Laugh till they drive you off in a big black hearse. Nobody lives forever. You better laugh and sing. Laughter's better than any. Laughter's better than any. Laughter's better than any. Laugh!
What a happy ending.
You mean how the atomic war made the planet beautiful for roach people?
It's a wonderful world.
And then you ate Jenna's children alive.
They were delicious.
Do you think your civilization has anything to learn from the war in Iraq?
Vote Republican. They're good for the roach people.
And the rich people.
Now can you help me with my book report on Franz Kafka? He was the greatest human writer.
I actually know Franz. Cool dude.
You're even better than the big book of roach facts.
I'm a primary source.
Mark, am I fictional?